So I want to tell you one thing. Like recently, I wrote a beautiful love letter to my wife, and she was highly impressed. But what she doesn't know is it was generated through Chat GPT. So my burning question is, am I like generally like people are going to start depending on these AI solutions? Am I going to become dumb? Am I going to stop making my own decisions?
I hate to break it to you, but we're all very dependent already, and we're not making some of the decisions on our own. But so here's the story, right? It's 1987-ish. I'm not even a teenager. My parents are planning the road trip. We're going to the seaside. It's like 700 miles or so, or maybe 400 miles, I should say. And we decided not to fly that year. We decided to drive. So my dad pulled up a road map, right? The most current one that was issued that year. And, we together, I remember sitting down with him, and it was fun. We were going and deciding, okay, roughly where do we need to stop to refuel in all of this? Question for you, when was the last time you used a physical map to navigate anywhere?
Maybe 10, 12 years ago. Not even, maybe more than that. Yeah.
Right. Like before Google Maps, right?
Before Google Maps, yeah.
Okay.
There was Garmin Maps, and before that, probably, yeah.
Right, exactly. And like today, I would venture to guess that you always use like Google Maps or Waze or something like that, right?
Right.
And it makes sense, right? It's an evolution of technology, and it's where it's there. Why not use it? But there's a twist to this as well, right? I'm willing to bet that you still do you use Google Maps or Waze or like, what do you use?
Google Maps.
Google. Okay. So I'm willing to bet that you, just like me, use Google Maps even when you go to places where you know exactly how to get to. If for nothing else, to see what are the alternate routes and what is the traffic.
Right.
And so you didn't make that decision. Ultimately, you didn't make a decision to go down a particular route. Artificial intelligence that is built into Google Maps has helped you make that decision and say, look, there's a collision on the interstate. It's going to take you 2 hours. You're better off taking the side road. You're going to save 25, 30 minutes.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, on the way, you can also stop to your favorite ice cream shop, right? So you get there, you're early, right? And then you have time to, ponder the new world order and how to help it. I'm kidding. I know you're on Instagram probably saving that time. My point is, we are already dependent on a lot of artificial intelligence. We're just not aware of it, right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Actually, it's not a bad thing at all because, yes, it's getting you to a particular place faster, right? Does it make mistakes? Yeah. The other day, it sent me down the road that I thought, yeah, of course it makes sense. There's no traffic. I will take the interstate and I'll go that way. But it didn't know that there was a new barrier that was put in place because of some construction. So I wasn't able to get off the interstate in the next exit, and I had to go, extra route. So it happens. Whatever. I wasted a little bit of time. Not that dangerous, right? But so it's not perfect, right? It's evolving, but it's in most cases better than what we normally do. So did that make you any less smart, right? That you're not using this or not that? I don't think so, right? Like my point is that this is a normal evolution. We're in the new, let's call it industrial age, right? Whatever you want to call it. And, we are simply going to learn how to utilize artificial intelligence to the best of our ability. Now, there's a need to be more aware of what it is that is being used. And this is where we go to Chat GPT or equivalent products, right? I'm totally not against the fact that you can, generate a love letter, right? Or generate a draft for something. Right, that's totally cool. But there is a danger if you generate and just publish, meaning you haven't read through it. It doesn't have any of your thoughts or your adjustments to it, right? I think that's where the danger is, and it's going to be very individual, right? We're going to see that happen. Like we're going to see people generate a lot of news and so on and so forth, right, based on things that are not factual, That's going to happen. And we're going to have to become smarter at figuring that out. And living with it and understanding when something is factual or not. We're going to make mistakes. But hopefully with legislation and everything else, we'll get to the point where, solutions are going to have trusted marks that say our solution has been verified. We had a third-party solution. Somebody came in that has looked at this and is constantly looking, it's auditing us. And it's, this is a solution that can be trusted by others to be used. So anyhow, sorry, that's a long answer to your very, I think, simple question. But I think the reality is we are dependent on AI. There's no doubt about it. We're going to be more dependent as new solutions come up. And resistance is futile. There's no way you're going to be resisting and not using artificial intelligence. However, right, lots of caution, lots of regulations are needed. I can't emphasize that more and more. A lot of training for people to understand what's going on and what they're using potentially, and what are the dangers of it. And that we're just going to have to kind of live through that piece. A lot of people ask, is it going to eliminate a bunch of jobs? And there's the standard response of, well, no, the AI is there to augment. Let's cut through the chase. There's absolutely no doubt that artificial intelligence is going to improve things. And as an industrial society, in a capitalist society, it will eliminate certain jobs. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you can't sit here and argue with me that no, all the jobs are going to remain the same. That's not going to happen. It is going to change how we operate and what we do. However, it's going to create new jobs as well.
Right.
The concept of this would not exist. The auditing of artificial intelligence solutions, there would be no need for such a thing if artificial intelligence solutions didn't exist. So it's creating a brand new, for example, industry, right? So there's going to be a lot of, everything is a balance, right? Yeah, certain jobs are probably going to go away, but most jobs are going to be enhanced. We're not going to lose doctors because they have artificial intelligence system that help them analyze images. We're still going to need a doctor. But and there's going to be some new ones that are created, and I kind of look at it that way, right? Every time we've gone through some kind of industrial revolution, things have changed. There's no doubt about it, and there's no. I mean, I'm simply not a pessimist, and maybe it's me. I'm a realist, I would say, right? That this is the reality. It's coming, and we have to find the right way to use it in a safe way to basically use it.
Right, and probably people had the same questions probably back then when calculator was invented. Like, oh, my job is going to go away. Like, or even when computers were invented, when my father was afraid, everything was done manually. We all had something to do. Now, computer is going to do everything. But here we are in a much enhanced society, right? And there's definitely a lot of work to do for everyone.
There is, and there's no. Somebody mentioned this. It was about. I don't remember if it was about DALL-E, right? The Chat GPT equivalent for creating images, or there was another one. I don't remember the name of it right now. But somebody mentioned that just because those solutions exist and you can generate beautiful images, it doesn't mean that a value of an artist doesn't exist anymore. But that doesn't mean you still should learn how to be an artist if you want to be an artist. So calculator is a perfect example, right? I'm not going to let my kids have a calculator now. Like my 5-year-old is already adding numbers. He's learning multiplication and all of these things. He doesn't know that calculator exists, and he shouldn't. Like I want him to. This is the stage when they're developing their brains, right? I want them to develop. I want them to practice those things. Eventually, when the time is needed, yes, they will learn how to use certain technology and do certain potentially shortcuts, right? But I think there's a huge responsibility on parents to make sure that they learn basically in the best way and that they're developed in the best way. And I'm totally not concerned that they're going to, are they ever going to learn how to use an iPhone? Oh my God. Yeah. they will learn how to use iPhone like this. Like it'll be no problem at all.
Right. Wonderful.